You're listening to the What If Podcast with Spencer Worth Davis and Ryan Copperrood. Fuck yeah, aliens are real.
Fuck yeah, Andrew B.
Our guy Andy recorded some voiceover for us.
Fuck yeah, aliens are real.
I love it.
Nice job, man.
Oh, man.
We've had mixed responses to yes, British lady, no British lady, yes, theme song, no theme song. But what we didn't have a mixed response to internally on the podcast was when that dude sent us that, we were like, yeah, that's gonna open the show this week.
Going on the show.
So yeah, if you also want to be a part of the What If Podcast.
We were talking earlier, it's got to be like pretty funny and pretty well recorded, or like really, really funny and kind of shittily recorded.
Or really well recorded and not necessarily that funny.
I mean, we can do that here. We do that every week. We sound good saying stupid shit all the time.
I'm just saying, like, British lady is well recorded, but not very funny.
She's pretty low on both of those, honestly. I think the more I think about it, I think she's got to go.
Look, challenge delivered to the listeners.
Also, if you were the one person who I think tweeted at us and said that British lady needs to stay because she's some famous person, but then didn't respond when I asked who it is.
Yeah.
Please respond.
Yeah. if we've had a British celebrity doing our drop this entire time, I'd like to know who.
Right, that would be tight.
That'd be very tight.
We're talking about weird stuff, weird sounds. What if you... Oh, no, we're going to do it this time. What if you heard something strange?
What if you heard something strange?
There, we did
something very, very strange.
Which one do you want to start with?
I don't know. We literally,
zero coordination on this one. We're just going.
If you guys haven't noticed, sometimes Spencer and I don't actually coordinate the stories that we prepare. We just prep the topic.
Nobody cares.
Yes, they do. They do care.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
Sorry.
Oh, that's good. You got affirmative and negative depending on what you need to do.
And an uncertain.
Uh-oh. Right down the middle.
Uh-huh.
Undecided.
Okay, so
kick us off, man.
We'll start with the Forest Grove sound.
Bourgeois.
Because I bet you haven't heard about that one.
Wait, let's do really quickly. Why? So you originally were the one to pitch this idea. How did weird sounds come into your world? / why did you want to do this episode?
That's a big question for me, my guy.
Yeah, I suppose. You've been making weird sounds since you were like 12.
Because they're mysterious and like not. We talked about cows being slaughtered last week. We needed something lighter.
It's true.
It's mysterious, but it's not threatening, and it conveys well over podcast form.
There's that.
Because, audio and such. Also, this one will probably be more fun if you have headphones, because we're going to play some things that won't register on your laptop or phone speakers, most likely. Yeah. So if you want to hear the really low, spooky stuff, throw on some headphones.
Yeah,
or your car will probably handle it.
That's true. Word. Cool. Yeah, there's surprisingly a much more vast amount of documentation of fucking really weird sounds in the world.
Especially now that everyone can record
imagined.
Sounds all the time wherever they go.
That's true. It also has given rise to a shitload of what's very obviously hoaxed and or fake audio and sounds.
Who cares? Those are fun too.
That's true. I suppose we're probably going to talk about some that we know are not real as well.
Let's start with this one.
Okay.
This is the Forest Grove sound. We'll get into what it is after you hear how weird it is. Ryan's going deaf, so I'm going to stop it. Yeah, that one's kind of rough if you have it loud. The Forest Grove sound.
We should have warned somebody.
It's only for us. It'll sound great by the time you guys hear it.
That's true.
We're just deaf now. Sorry. In February 2016.
What are the other sounds we're playing? Spencer, can you hear me?
His head fell off.
And my ears fell out.
In February 2016, that noise that you just heard was heard at night repeatedly in Forest Grove, Oregon. And no one could figure out where it was coming from.
Okay.
And that's how loud it was. That was just a cell phone recording of somebody taking video of their backyard. And that's how loud it was. So it was pretty fucking loud. It caught on after somebody shared that video on Facebook, and then it got picked up by some local news stations. No one ever figured out what it was. They described it as being, well, I mean, you guys heard it, but they described it as being akin to a one-note violin solo broadcast over a microphone with nonstop feedback.
Oh, good.
Or a mechanical scream. It usually lasted anywhere from about 10 seconds to several minutes at a time.
Whoa.
The fire department, of all departments, investigated and did not consider the sound to be a safety risk. As in...
Because the sound wasn't on fire? Fucking thanks, guys. Didn't know that was part of your duty.
It occurred...
We've got a sound. Let's call the fire department. Hey, I heard there was a sound here. Yes, sir. If you listen quickly. Is the sound on fire? Well, no, sir. A sound can't be on fire. Have a good day. Just fucking leave.
My mistake. However...
I am still deaf. They determined that the sound was coming from an area near Gales Creek Road, but they could never determine the exact location of it, nor the source of the sound.
It's almost reminiscent of a high-pitched train whistle almost.
Yeah, no train tracks nearby.
Like a woo, like it's got that kind of...
That's only in the morning.
What?
You did the exact, like, the whistles go, woo. Bub Rub or whatever that guy's name was.
Oh, man, we should have pulled that audio for this
Lil
episode
Sis.
big time.
Hey, you know, you guys are familiar. Go YouTuber.
I don't know if everybody is. You played it for me for the first time. Anyway, but it does. It has a very high-pitched train whistle sound to it, but it does. It gets kind of like mechanical and awful at the end.
Yeah.
Were there multiple reports of this?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it happened for like a couple weeks and then people stopped hearing it. And the Public Works Department looked at it after the fire department determined that it was not coming from a fire. And they also couldn't figure out what it was.
That seems slightly more relevant.
Yeah, because it could be like I guess maybe it's like a pipe that's, I don't know. Like it could be a steam related sound or some sort of, it does sound metallic or like a mechanical grinding kind of sound almost.
Right.
If you're not familiar with
City residents have been told this noise is perfectly legal. So tomorrow, they
search
hope
for
to start
Whistle
a
Tips,
process to
Oakland
change
News.
Yeah.
the law.
The whistles got woo.
Anybody?
That's the part I was looking
There
for.
we go.
So that's the weird Oregon Forest Grove sound.
Just nothing then. That was it.
Yeah, it stopped.
No resolution.
It stopped happening, and before they could figure out what was causing it, and then people gave up.
That is sort of one of the things about this topic I noticed the more that I dug into it this week is like there's a lot of theories around what some of this stuff is, but I would say the vast majority of them are just sort of unresolved.
Well, how would you gather actual information about that? All you have to go on is that you can hear this weird sound.
Well,
So then what?
yeah, but I mean, sounds generally have a source, so you can generally try to track down a source of a sound, especially
That's
if
the
it's
thing with a lot of these is like it seems to be coming from all or many directions.
Yeah, but I mean, we know that like that's not how sound works.
Which is why it's weird.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
That obviously, if they could pinpoint the location of it, they would have in the 3 weeks that it was happening.
Well,
but that's why it's
right.
mysterious because
Right.
they couldn't.
Right. And I guess maybe that's also part of it too, is for the most part, the vast majority of these are somewhat temporary in nature, like
Or
they're not
intermittent,
or
except for the hum.
the hum. Well, even the hum is intermittent though. Should we talk about the hum?
Depending on who you ask. Yeah, sure. I guess we started to, so we might as well
We
keep
said
going.
the hum. We should further the hum.
You want to take that one? You got some hum information?
In New Scientist magazine on December 13th of 1979, this writer, Steve Wilson, writes an article with a very phenomenally British editorial cartoon attached to it with like a giant buzzing fly and a guy with a newspaper like trying to wave the fly away from him as if signifying the humming sound, I guess, was the attempt.
I get it. That's clever.
Yeah,
sort of.
The title of the article is Mystery of People Who Hear the Hum.
Is this specifically the Bristol hum or just
Well,
some other British hum?
hang tight.
Okay.
The subtitle is All Over Britain, there are otherwise perfectly ordinary people whose lives are disrupted by a strange phenomenon, the hum. They hear the sound all the time and find escape from it impossible. What
Dun, dun, dun.
is it? And basically proceeds to be, I think this New Scientist article is like the first real documentation of this hum.
When is this article from?
1979, or maybe the first most popular.
That was the first round of hums in the UK.
Yep. He says sources of environmental noise these days are too familiar: airports, road traffic, industry, and so on. And the noise involved is usually loud and fairly high pitched. But in the past few years, it has become clear that people often complain about a very low frequency noise below 100 hertz, which not only has no clear source, but also causes a degree of annoyance not related to loudness, which is an interesting way to phrase that.
This might be a good time to interject just a little bit about sound and frequencies and sound waves.
Yeah, which take it away, because...
Well, just because we're going to talk about a lot of very low frequencies. The most people can hear between 20 hertz at the lowest end and about 20 up to 20,000 hertz on the highest end. So 100 hertz is very low, near the bottom of what humans can hear. And anything under 20 hertz would be inaudible, but at loud volumes could possibly be felt as vibration.
Got it. So 100 hertz would be super low on the scale, but audible.
Yes.
Or likely audible, depending on how good your hearing is.
You would have some serious hearing damage if you couldn't hear 100 hertz. This is, I actually pulled 52 hertz specifically, because we're going to talk about a whale that speaks at 52 hertz later.
Tight.
So this is 52 hertz. If you're listening on your phone or your laptop, you probably just heard 3 seconds of silence. If you have headphones in, you heard a sub bass kind of sound.
Yeah.
So 100 is considerably higher, like twice as high as that.
Got it.
So you'd be able to hear it, but it's low.
Got it. Yeah, so Steve Wilson starts to basically walk through people in Bristol and around Britain who hear this hum, and people describe it in a lot of different ways. They say, they talk about it being like a lorry turning over or idling.
A lorry being
a taxi cab.
No, a lorry is a truck, bro.
A truck?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a truck or a car or any kind of car.
No, a lorry is like a semi.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, British friends.
Disappointing.
Disappointing.
You were just there, man.
I was, but I didn't hear anyone use the word lorry. I'm sorry about how bad my accent was, and I'm sorry that I didn't know exactly what a lorry was.
They describe it as like a diesel, like a big diesel engine idling.
Yes, but some people have slightly different versions of it that say, like they say that it can have a throbbing effect more than like a rumbling effect as well.
I have a recording of, or a recreation of what people say it sounds like. If
Please,
you'd like to
I
hear
heard a
it.
few in my my hunt.
This one is much lower even than what I just played. And so if you're listening on something without bass response, you're just going to hear some static, but there's some really low stuff underneath it. It sounds something like... something like that. Do you hear the bass stuff under there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it would be like if you had something mechanical running in the background. It's like just a low, droning, rumbly kind of sound.
Yeah, totally.
Which I thought was sort of interesting, because one of the explanations for a lot of these sounds is that people just have tinnitus, ringing of the ears.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is ever, people never describe hearing really, really low ringing, right?
With
Isn't it
tinnitus?
almost always high-pitched sounds?
That's the way that I've personally understood tinnitus, but I have heard the same thing, that it can be tinnitus or a combination of tinnitus plus some of well, here. Let me keep going with the hum, and then we'll get to potential. No, it's fine. And then we'll get to, because people have postured a bunch of explanations for this. So, but this is one of the first, I guess, popular documentations of people hearing this fucking weird, throbbing,
Mystery
humming, mystery sound. So fast forward 30 years, Dr. Glenn McPherson starts the Hum Project in 2012 to account for and map the number of people who have heard or continue to hear the hum. He creates this website. You can actually go to it right now if you're in a safe place to visit a website, not in your car while driving.
Oh, right.
Thehum.info is a
nailed it with the web address.
Is a very
I'd like info about the hum. Where should I go?
I would like the hum info. It's super rudimentary, if you can imagine, but the actual project is pretty interesting. Basically,
which GeoCities looking ass website.
Yeah, it's super GeoCities looking. But Glenn McPherson lectured at the University of British Columbia for 16 years, and he puts together this website where you can go in and submit your information about your personal experience with the hum. And not only can you submit it, but you can look at both a physical map and a Google data spreadsheet that breaks down individual submissions of people who have heard it and how they have heard it. So you can actually go into this Google Fusion table and you can go all over the world and look for high density reports of a similar humming sound.
Dude, and there's one reported 4 blocks from our studio.
Is it really?
Yeah. I'm not going to say where because
that would be too specific.
Oh, wow. And you can read the actual description from the point on the map. That's what you just said, isn't it?
It is.
I was too busy looking at this map of my neighborhood. And then when I said it out loud, I realized I just heard that.
You were told something that was phenomenally interesting. Yeah. So what I spaced on his name already. Dr. Glenn McPherson asks for, if you go to thehum.info to submit your experience with hums or the hum, is he wants to know, when is the sound the loudest?
At night.
A personal description of the sound.
Low rumbling, like a truck idling.
I'll read a specific one.
That's what I'm doing. I'm reading the one from 3 blocks away.
Oh, you have it. Okay.
Yeah.
Does the sound ever stop?
I only notice at night in a particular room in the house. Well, there's your answer, lady. It kept me awake, but I'd doze off eventually. I never heard it during the day.
Does it ever pulse or throb?
No answer.
Where is it the loudest?
In my house on the main floor.
Have you tried tracking down the source of the noise?
With some effort.
That's a multiple choice. No effort, with great effort, or with little effort.
Got it.
When did you start hearing it?
2010.
Can you provide a precise date when you first noticed it?
No.
In which ear is the sound the strongest?
Equally in both ears.
What is this actual question?
Does your home have a smart meter?
That's the one.
No. I don't know. What's a smart meter?
I think it's a nope, don't know. Gonna look it up.
It's a good try though. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was potentially 2 separate things, and then I was like, not gonna guess because I'm gonna sound like an asshole if I try.
That's what we do here.
Please list any unusual geographic, geological, or other features in your area.
None. I'm located near the What If podcast.
And they're fucking weird as balls. So I don't know.
They're blasting 52 hertz out of their studio.
They ask whether you're left or right-handed, which is a weird question. Your gender, your
female.
age.
61.
Any medical complaints that you've experienced.
Sleep disturbances.
Because of the hum. And then they ask you to list any other cities or locations where you may have also heard the hum.
None listed.
Do you have, if you haven't realized how fucking comprehensive this is, do you have any medical issues with your hearing?
No.
Did we forget anything? Do you have any other information or details for the project?
I moved my sleeping to the 2nd floor, so I'm not disturbed by the sound anymore, so I don't know if it's still present.
Oh, damn.
Lady, you never go downstairs in your house? You've been upstairs since 2010?
That ended it. I have used the pulley system to haul my groceries up to the 2nd floor window.
I have a funnel.
My friends throw my mail through my window to me. If you have matched the hum frequency using a tone generator, the frequency is between...
No. That's how she answered.
No, it is not between anything. And what direction does the hum seem to come from?
She doesn't say.
So it's a pretty comprehensive set of questions related to people who have had a specific experience, sought out this website, and then entered it. Now, you might think, wow, a few hundred crazy people talking about hearing a humming are probably a few hundred crazy people. But since 2012, this database now has over 16,000 submissions of people around the world who have answered this set of questions together.
There's one pretty close to your house, too. Watch out.
Is there really?
Yep.
Give me any interesting things there? Don't tell them where I live.
Right. Very low, persistent hum with some occasional waves or pulses of increased intensity. Heard at night. Louder in the right ear. This person's home does have a smart meter, whatever that is.
Please hold.
He's had ear discomfort and sleep disturbances. This dummy listed his exact address, even though it specifically says not to. And it comes from the West.
Smart meters are electronic devices that record consumption of electrical energy in intervals of an hour or less and communicates information at least daily back to a utility for both monitoring and billing.
So somebody doesn't have to come out and check your meter. It's transmitted somehow?
I would imagine, yes.
Got it.
And I would also guess that there is a connection to people who own smart meters.
Well, I would assume so since they're asking about it.
Right. And so they're probably going like, you hearing a humming? Yeah. You have a smart meter? Yeah, that's it.
Goodbye. None in Cuba, even though people were blasting sound waves into people's heads in Cuba.
Well, you're also reliant on a lot of things to be able to use this website.
So if you want to be safe, you guys can move to Cuba or Chad. Cameroon is safe. Madagascar is safe.
Well, I mean,
as is Mongolia.
Define safe, because the other
free of hums.
Well, free of hums in that people have not found this website and accessed the internet and then submitted their
no
reports.
Humming in Papua New Guinea.
So I was curious, right? I was like, 16,000 people. That's a shitload of people. I mean,
correct.
That's a shitload of people for the internet, for people to just voluntarily go seek this out and fill out an online form.
With that first lady, it's her fridge, you know?
Maybe, yeah.
It's only happening in one room of my house. Well, then, lady.
Then look around your room. Yeah, no, I get that. But that's I would say that's not most of them.
I don't know. Did you read all 16,000?
I didn't read all 16,000, but I feel like I read enough of them to realize that people like most decent and sane human beings are able to look around and go like, where
when I
is
go
this
outside
coming
at
from?
night in my backyard near the large tree, there's a growling noise. Sounds something like a cougar.
Right. Like, dog, have you looked up? Maybe you have a cougar in your tree. Like, most people are able to accomplish that simply enough. Dr. Glenn himself, he said that. So he started this project obviously because he was having this experience, and he actually cut off the power to his entire home for an evening.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna say he cut off his ears. That's way better.
Oh no, Jesus! Oh God, no, Jesus, no. No, he cut off the power to his entire home for an evening.
His head fell off.
His ears fell out, so that he could examine whether or not that was in fact the case. Like, do I have a weird fucking lamp or a speaker or a appliance or
nope,
something?
Just a weird brain. Sorry, Glenn.
Well,
weird ears. What if you had weird ears? There it is. We finally got there.
There it is. That's what we'll use. So I went on Twitter and I was like, I wonder if I searched "hear a hum."
Oh yeah.
If you
how
just
do we do?
Go to all tweets, there's. I mean, it's not all of them.
Disturbed. I don't know why I decided to do this.
It's not all of them, but it is
what do we got? You got a few good ones?
I didn't.
Well, come on, bro. You
I
can't
read it
tease
for
that
myself.
Well, yeah, but share with the class, my guy.
Okay. All right. Well, please hold.
Well, look, if you're not prepared to do the research, Brian, why make the statement in the first place?
Fuck you. I did the fucking research. No, that's not how you spell any of those things. Nice job, bud.
You misspelled the hum?
The funny thing is I misspelled here and then I combined a hum into one thing. The funny thing is, apparently in the UK, people spell hum as HUM. Hum.
Like I'm confused or don't understand something? What we would spell HMM, perhaps?
Exactly, like a thinking sound.
Well, can't you just delete the Brits from your Twitter?
No.
Oh.
Why would we want to?
Well, for these purposes, it would help a lot.
This person says, I just read a book by a lady who has studied trees her entire life and says she hears things hum.
That lady sounds crazy as fuck. I study trees and I hum.
This one from yesterday is just a random dude who said, am I going crazy or does anybody else hear a dull hum in the air all the time? And there are many that are like some version of, I hear this hum every night when I'm going to sleep. It sounds like a large truck, but there's nothing around. This is from 3 days ago. I thought maybe my neighbor had a vibrating bed, but now I'm creeped out. What is this? It's also specifically at night. So,
I would be more creeped out if my neighbor had a vibrating bed. What the fuck is a vibrating bed?
That is creepy. Yes, I agree.
Is that a thing?
Apparently.
Why?
Like the massaging beds from the fucking 80s or whatever, where you like...
The whole bed vibrates?
Yeah, it's supposed to like shake
awful.
all your fucking anxiety and your whatever else. So I guess, I don't know, it's common enough that people are to this day tweeting about it and tens of thousands of people are finding this website and writing about it. And you could see too, I watched a couple of videos online of people who hear it, and it's interesting to watch how... I don't know what the word is because I feel like it's pejorative to say crazy and I don't want to say that, but like...
It is.
It is pejorative?
Just for the record, yeah.
Yeah, but like... Well, the phrase I'm trying to say is like how crazy it drives them. Like they are consumed
very irked
by this sound and getting to the root of it and their inability to get to the root of it and how frustrating it is. And like these people who say like... I lose sleep. I feel weird. The symptoms column in the sheet that we were reading back and forth, hella people in there are like, I get nauseous, I get dizzy, I get headaches, I can't sleep. I can hear it all the time. Like,
doesn't mean any of those things are caused by a humming sound that you hear, though.
No, not necessarily, but there are things that people attribute to them for whatever that's worth. So whether or not they are technically caused by that or whether or not people...
They're certainly not.
You don't think a low humming sound can contribute to physical effects if you actually are experiencing it?
Why wouldn't everyone around you be experiencing the same thing then?
Well, so that's a great question. So let's get into what the fuck is causing the hum.
Like it's the people... You ever heard the people who say they have like a Wi-Fi or a radio frequency allergy? Like they can't be around RF fields.
The one I've heard is cell phones.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not.
Couldn't we be wired differently though?
How?
I don't know. That I wouldn't claim to understand the science behind it, but I would be willing to bet that there's a possibility that in the same way that like some people can't eat peanuts or they'll literally fucking die, that like their brain or their blood or their organs or whatever would potentially react differently to different outside stimuli.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Psychosomatic
I don't know the
reactions
answer.
are definitely a thing too, though.
Psychosomatic reactions are definitely a thing. I would not take away from that either. I'm just saying I wouldn't claim to like say 100% these people are manifesting all of these things, that a low frequency in your area caused by something couldn't potentially cause that for some people and not for others.
Are there any examples of anyone being exposed to what we know is a low frequency sound over a long period of time and having reactions like that, though?
Well, I mean, the Cuba thing is a great example of that. Or Puerto Rico? Was it Puerto Rico?
What?
Where the diplomats had the reports of...
That was different, though. That the assumption there is that it's high intensity at close range pointed directly at someone.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be low frequency sound.
I thought it was low frequency sound because they couldn't actually hear it.
Well, there are high frequencies that you can't hear also, anything over 20K.
Okay, so high or low frequency though.
I'm just saying that's not an example of what you're talking about with people hearing a low frequency sound. And then, like, if you can hear it, we're subjected to sounds within our range of hearing all day, every day.
Yes.
And if you can barely hear it, it's obviously not that intense.
True.
I mean, it'd be, if that gave you a reaction every time you listen to music, you would get sick. But way worse because you listen to music way louder than a distant hum.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're saying the intensity level of that is not enough to contribute to physical ailments.
Not as far as anyone has ever documented. Yeah,
in the medical world.
Yeah,
I don't know.
If you got sick by hearing 50 hertz at a very low volume, you'd be sick all the time, regardless of where you were.
True. So Glenn on the hum.info has
play UGK at you and make you shit your pants.
I'm a soldier now.
Like, that's just not a thing.
My weapon is rap songs.
You get close to someone's refrigerator, you'd barf. Like, it's just not a thing that happens.
Dave, you barfed on the fridge again. Every time you go get a beer, Dave, you barf on the fucking fridge. I'll get one for you.
It's just not possible.
Glenn has 4.
Get in your buddy's car and talk radio's up too loud. Just, oh, shit.
Get the fuck out of the car, Dave. God. Sound sensitive ass. Go home.
Literally.
Glenn has 4 things that are hypotheses that he believes is what is causing this number of people.
Show me what you got.
Number 1, very low frequency radio frequencies between 3 hertz and 30 kilohertz, and possibly extremely low frequencies.
Wait, say that again.
Very low radio frequencies between 3 hertz and 30 kilohertz.
That's a huge range, isn't it?
And possibly extremely low frequencies below 3 kilohertz. 3 kilohertz and 30 kilohertz.
That makes more sense.
And possibly extremely low frequencies below 3 kilohertz are interacting with living tissue and activating human auditory systems in a way the brain interprets as sound, and sometimes as perception of physical vibration. The perception of EM energy as hissing or popping sounds has already been established at higher frequencies.
Electrophonic hearing. That shit is crazy. I wanted to talk about it.
Are we going to talk about it?
That's what you're describing right now.
Well, I don't know what that means.
It means that electricity or microwaves can induce what we interpret as sound.
See, but this is exactly what I'm talking about in reverse, though. Why is that not possible at a low frequency or a low humming?
Because the sounds that people are describing are, well, okay. So what you're talking about, it's called either microwave hearing, electrophonic hearing, or the Fry effect, because it was discovered by some guy named Fry. It consists of audible clicks induced by pulsed or modulated microwave frequencies.
Whoa.
So it's a much, much higher frequency, and it doesn't manifest as a low audible hum. It's like a clicking or popping inside your ear. But basically, the nerves in your ear are being stimulated directly, and your brain interprets it as sound rather than your eardrum actually vibrating to create sound.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Which is cool and interesting, but wouldn't necessarily explain a consistent low audible hum.
Yeah. So I guess he's saying something like in the inverse of that is a possibility.
Okay.
He also, number 2 is the world hum, he believes. This is all from the hum.info. I'm reading his actual like scientific exploration with others. The hum is caused by an increasingly grand accumulation of low-frequency sound and infrasound from human activity, including example mining, marine traffic, air traffic, windmill farms, smelters, blast furnaces, freeway traffic, the general electric grid, factories, and so on.
That one sort of makes sense to me, except Like, there's definitely stuff happening around us all the time that could generate sound that we wouldn't be able to place physically. Infrasound, by definition, means that it's below the range of human hearing, though. So he's saying that is then vibrating something else that's making sound? Is that what he's saying?
I think he's saying the accumulation of both low frequency sound and infrasound potentially stimulating enough for us to like feel or hear from all of those things, I think.
Okay. That one I at least sort of buy.
Okay. Number 3 is the world hum is the result of a terrestrial or geological process. Many geological processes can work very quickly, such as earthquakes. However, some can work over months or years, like volcanoes. He says that he actually has people who are digging into historical records to find evidence of the hum in 19th century England. And if this can be solidly established that the hum has occurred in past centuries, it would be a piece confirming evidence for this theory. As in a time where there was less industrialization of the world, less electronical frequencies, etc. It was still a thing that people could pinpoint.
Therefore, it must be natural.
Coming from the Earth itself in some crazy way.
Or possibly...
Fuck yeah, aliens are real.
It's another possible explanation. Just
yeah, no, definitely. Of course, it's always on this show.
Keep all our options open.
It's always a possibility on this show. And then the fourth, which I'm sure at this point is potentially your favorite. The world hum is an internal body process along the lines of autoacoustic emissions and tinnitus. If the currently accepted timeline of the hum is correct, however, he finds this theory unlikely. He basically...
Body's vibrating?
Somato sound?
You got to raise your vibration, bro. And then you won't be able to hear it.
You know what somato sound is?
No, it sounds cool, though.
It's basically the fact that we can actually hear our own internal body processes, which is everything from like digestion to if you are in a quiet enough room, you can actually hear your own blood pumping.
So you know what else is in our neighborhood? I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah. Why did we do it for this show? Shit.
Well, because the whole point is that you don't hear stuff in there.
Yeah,
There's
true.
Do you remember the name of the place?
No, but I can look it up.
It's the world's quietest room. It is rated to basically no sound either gets in or no sound like reflects off the room. It's a perfectly quiet chamber.
Anechoic?
It means it doesn't echo, anti-echo, but I don't know how you say it.
Orfield Laboratories.
Yeah, which is in like within walking distance of our studio. We should, how much, you can schedule like a tour and time to sit in that room, right?
Yeah, they hold the Guinness Book of World Records for the quietest room in the world.
Yeah.
And I think you can pay to tour the facility as well as spend 15 minutes of time in the world's quietest room.
I don't think most people make it that long, do they?
No one has been able to stay in the room for longer than 45 minutes.
45, okay. Yeah, because it's so quiet that you can hear your own body processes happening. And
yeah, I mean, we all can in like even less manufactured circumstances, but in those circumstances,
it's enough to start really fucking with you.
You can hear nothing other than like every sound your own body makes.
Yeah.
Including like your digestion and your blood flow.
How much is it? Will a month or two of Patreon get us in there?
Patreon.com/whatifpodcast.
I wasn't trying to plug the Patreon. I was. Okay. Just trying to see if we could afford it.
Because the more of y'all we have, the more cool weird shit we could do. Yeah. Orfield Laboratories. I think it was like $100. It's like $150 per person per hour. And you can only go for like an hour.
Okay.
And I think of the hour, they like tour you through the whole place and they show you like, it's like what? It's like 45 feet underground or something like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's underground.
That would make sense, I guess.
Yeah. And they have a bunch of...
Some pretty good insulation.
So yeah, it's like 30 feet of insulation around the entirety of the room or something crazy like that.
It's designed for product testing primarily, right? You can...
I mean, that's who pays them the most money. They don't make as much money doing tours. They make more money off of like 3M coming in and being like, yo, we've got a new pacemaker and we need to know like how loud the pacemaker actually is when it's actually doing its work.
Or even just like how loud is the fan on this computer or whatever.
And they can rate that and figure out ways to make it quieter and shit like that.
We should go do that. I don't know how to. I think
fun.
my hesitation in the past has been I don't know how we translate that to interesting audio because.
I mean, we
gotta
could
go record something in the world's quietest room. You guys want to just listen to nothing for a while?
I think we could have a conversation in the world's quietest room and narrate like what we can and can't hear, or we could go do it and then
if they would let us record in there, we should investigate off air.
I mean, we can
instead of this.
We can click record on our iPhones while we're in there.
Instead of this long, drawn-out production meeting we're having in the middle of our episode.
Thing about non-sound when we're talking about sound. Hey, we let you guys behind the curtain, okay? It's because we love you.
Turns out we don't really know what we're doing. Can I talk about sky trumpets yet?
Oh boy, we're going there, huh? All right. So
the world's loneliest whale. Your call.
I feel like we should do the bloop and the world's loneliest whale in the same. How about this? Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what were you just about to say?
What the hell are we breaking for?
I got to take a piss.
Oh, okay, that's a good reason.
What was the thing you were
Sky
just gonna
trumpets.
say? All right. Well, should we end on sky trumpets? Because sky trumpets is. Let's end on sky trumpets.
Sure.
All right. We'll talk about the world's loneliest whale when we get back. It's the What If Podcast.
We want to hear from you. Send us a message. Email hi, that's hi, at whatifpodcast.com.
It's the world's loneliest whale.
Dub, 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 dub.
He's got no friends. Swimming around the ocean looking for a pal. It's the world's loneliest whale. The 52 hertz whale. He communicates at 52 hertz.
Did we just create like the best children's show?
It's very sad. The 52 hertz whale communicates at 52 hertz instead of in the
You don't say.
the 10 to 39 hertz range that most of his whale friends communicate at. Therefore, they can't hear or recognize him as a whale friend, and he's just out there swimming around by himself.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Making sub bass for no one.
Oh, that's fucked up.
So that's it sped up considerably because if you recall from earlier, 52 hertz sounds like this. So that's what he's actually doing, which makes it sound way sadder.
But wait, aren't most whales even lower than that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're at, I can't play.
So he's singing too high.
I can't play 10 hertz on my computer. It wouldn't do anything.
He's singing too high.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
dude, this is a totally stupid anecdote, but whatever. This reminds me of.
I like where this is going.
I saw this post on Reddit the other day that was like, what's the saddest thing you've ever seen on Reddit? And somebody commented about apparently there was a guy who accidentally got shadow banned from Reddit. Have you heard of this?
No.
They have a process called shadow banning.
Oh,
where
yeah. I'm familiar with that.
spammers like get shadow banned, which is they let them continue to use the thing so that they don't know that they're not getting.
But nothing you post shows up. Yeah.
Nothing you post shows up, no comments, you can't be upvoted or unliked or whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently, for some reason, this dude had gotten pulled into a shadow ban sweep and was on Reddit for like a year and a half, like interacting and posting and commenting, and couldn't figure out why like no one
ever
would
responded
interact
to him.
with him on Reddit. I was like, damn, that's the saddest internet story ever. This dude was like commenting like, haha, right guys? And like nothing
And then
every
he went
single
and dove
day.
into the ocean, and now he's to this day he's swimming around going. Moo.
No, it's him and the world's loneliest whale. They became like a duo of friends. They found
duo of friends.
They found each other.
A duo of friends, a whale pack.
A friend duo, a whale pack.
That was all I had to say about that one. Except that it means that it's maybe a different species of whale that we don't know about.
Oh, so this whale has not been observed.
No, we can't find him
solo dolo in the wild.
We just hear him once in a while.
We just hear him, and we hear that he is. Damn, that sounds sad as shit. What is that?
I mean, what's wrong with him? You don't want to go meet that guy. If all the other whales have disowned him and changed his vocal cords.
I don't think they changed his vocal cords.
Maybe that's their process of disowning the worst whales.
Tail slapped him in the throat enough times to get him to sing sadly.
They're really smart, man. Probably. They probably did surgery on him.
/ evil. That sounds fucking horrible.
Well, we don't know what he did. Maybe that's that's whale prison. You guys
that's
swim
how
around
whales
by
shadow ban each other is by whipping him in the throat?
No, they do surgery. Come on, they're sophisticated animals.
Surgery?
Yeah.
What kind of surgery?
They alter their vocal cords.
Well, how do they do that?
With they cut an incision along the side of the neck.
Using
a scalpel, duh. What the fuck kind of surgery are you doing?
I don't know. I just didn't know how whales would get access to scalpels.
They make them.
With?
Metal? They're closer to the inside of the earth. They mine it from the earth like we do. Yeah.
I thought you were going to go the bones of their enemies route.
They cut out a little section of their vocal cord and then stitch it back together to shorten the vocal cord,
so
which makes it a higher pitch.
Yeah, right.
And then they just blindfold them and swim away.
Send them out.
No, they just swim away from him. It takes a whale a long time to get a blindfold off because it doesn't have hands.
Yeah,
it's just gotta swim in a circle and backwards until it slides off its head.
But it doesn't take them that long to tie one around the head of
There's a bunch of whales doing that. They got teamwork.
Oh, it's team.
Yeah,
team.
It's the whole community comes together when one whale is really fucked up. No, he did something awful that we don't know about because all you can say is ooh.
Great story, bro. Great fucking story.
You're
bro.
welcome.
Well, speaking of the ocean, I guess.
We're going to the bloop.
How do I segue out of your fucking whale surgery story?
You talk about the bloop.
We talk about the bloop. What do you know about the bloop, bro? The bloop?
A little bit.
Bloop?
I know that it's not a giant sea monster like some people thought it was.
Do you know it wasn't a giant sea monster?
I've heard it's not a giant sea monster. I don't really know much for sure.
I like to think that we don't know shit around here and that...
Well, that's true. That's well documented over the last 100 or so hours of this podcast.
Yeah, no, for sure. But sometimes we're extra confident in things that we don't know much about, and sometimes
like whale surgery.
Like whale surgery, yeah. As evidenced by
the previous segment.
But yeah, man, the bloop. Let's play the bloop before we talk about the bloop.
Okay. Here's the bloop.
This is the bloop.
There it was.
That was it. There's another one. There it is. So
that has been sped up though, correct?
So that what you just heard, even though it sounds like when when you're in the bathtub and you go underwater and like a bubble comes out from underneath you, like that's what that sounds like.
Bloop. You farting in the bathtub, bro?
Every day I do.
Cool. Sounds fun.
All day, every day.
Gross.
No, but like it just sounds like an underwater bubble, right? Just like bloop.
Yes.
That's it.
But isn't it? That's like way.
So that little
faster than it actually was.
Yeah, that little blip is 16 times faster than what the actual sound was.
Right.
When the actual sound was originally heard in the summer of 1997, it lasted for just over a minute, about a minute and 15 seconds. And where it was heard was about 1,500 miles west of the south coast of Chile. So the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Did you say Chile or Chili's?
A Chili's.
Okay.
Yeah. This was carbonation.
Yeah. This was a Chili's
from a
induced.
Chili's. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Too many quesadillas and too much Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Let it out. Yep. Been there. We've all been there.
We've all been to Chili's, but only a couple times. NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, recorded the sound, and what they recorded was recorded on. So apparently, there's like these series of underwater microphone arrays, hydrophones, they call them, and actually
because it's a water microphone.
Fucking genius, bro.
Yeah,
genius. What they. Basically, the biggest owner of these hydrophonic arrays is our Navy and then other countries' navies. They
keep tabs on Godzilla.
Also, maybe there's, that little pinging sound that fucking submarines make and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear some of those? You want to know where they are?
I don't think they actually make that sound. I think that's a radar thing, isn't it?
Is that?
I don't think they're just floating around broadcasting that sound. That would be counterproductive.
Is that Hollywood?
The whole point is that a submarine is sneaky.
That's true. But they are there to like detect the passage of ships and animals,
sea monsters.
And also they listen for sea monsters. They listen for earthquakes. They listen for tsunamis, all that stuff. So there are two separate hydrophonic arrays that are 3,000 miles away
from each other. Okay. From Chili's.
From Chili's. Imagine going 1,500 miles west of the south coast of Chile, and then imagine I don't know what direction they were, but from that spot, 3,000 miles away, there was two separate arrays that both heard this sound for a total of a minute. For perspective, that is the equivalent of driving basically from Los Angeles to like St. Louis and back again.
That distance is
3,000 miles.
Okay. That's just one of those comparisons that actually makes me more confused.
Okay.
Because I've never driven from LA to St. Louis and I'm bad at geography.
Okay. I guess what I'm trying to say is imagine it's far as fuck.
Okay, that's good. I can deal with that.
Times 2.
Cool. Bet.
And both of those microphone arrays heard the same sound at the same time.
How many people's jobs do you think it is to listen to the ocean?
I don't know.
Like, is there just a guy at a desk with headphones on listening to the ocean all day?
I mean, I think the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration probably has, I would say, at least one person whose job it is to listen to the ocean.
And then you just note any weird sounds that you hear throughout the day, or what?
Well, I would imagine that there's probably...
Who's your supervisor?
The ocean. Comes crashing down around you when you fuck up your job.
It should already know what sounds it's making. That doesn't make any sense.
I think there's probably an algorithm that understands what's in the normal range of what the ocean usually sounds like, and if anything goes outside of that, it records peaks or things that are different
Makes
frequencies.
a little more sense.
I
was envisioning like a guy with like headphones and a legal pad
eating Cheetos.
Your system
all day
probably
long.
is better. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think the guy eating Cheetos is the guy that gets an email that's automatically sent to him with a sound clip, like a .wav file that says, "Here's some weird shit that we heard
just
today."
Check like the sea monster or not sea monster box and then send it back.
Godzilla, yes or no? But think about that: 3,000 miles away. Like imagine.
I don't know much about how sound travels underwater.
Okay, but imagine how sound doesn't travel. Like, imagine the concept of being able to hear something that happened in Los Angeles.
Right. That's crazy.
It's insane. And then
I just don't know
that
if I don't know
distance.
if that's a good comparison or not. Or maybe it's even more crazy than that. I don't
Because of how sound travels underwater?
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine that.
I know that whales can communicate from really far away.
Yes,
maybe not
for
3,000
sure.
miles, but.
And they are big and they are very loud.
And I know that low frequencies travel farther and better underwater. And this would have been super low, whatever it was.
It would have been super low. The long and the short of it is, it's by far the loudest sound that's ever been detected because of the distance apart the microphone arrays were able to hear it at.
Could they figure out where it came from approximately?
They could not source it.
So then how do they know the relative loudness if they don't know where it was coming from?
Because if you could hear it from two places that were 3,000 miles apart, they know that there's nothing that's ever happened underwater that's made a sound that loud. At least that's been documented.
Okay.
Because that's so far away to be able to hear the same thing at the same time.
But it could have been in between the two. You know what I mean?
Sure, but it still would have been 1,500 miles away from each of them, directly in between, and that still would have been the loudest sound they've ever actually recorded.
Yeah. So, okay, so it was the loudest. Well, I don't know. How would you figure that out without the distance, though?
What do you mean?
Because that was only 2,000 miles away from one of them.
Yeah, and I'm saying...
And other sounds you've recorded could have been like way more than that. It could have been from 8,000 miles away and registered as a half the volume. You know, I mean, how would you determine volume without knowing distance?
I think the biggest point is two things that far away have never recorded the same sound before.
That makes sense. So sound never travels.
Sound has literally never. One sound has never ever been registered in two locations that far apart in the history of the world.
That makes sense.
So they heard this thing for fucking 80 seconds and that was it. They have no idea.
It's a reptilian.
Maybe. They looked into natural causes.
Icequakes.
So icequakes is one conversation that was had about the bloop, which is essentially that similarly to tectonic plates moving in the core of the earth, giant glaciers and ice bodies rubbing against each other could potentially create super low frequency things, especially with their bases being underwater, and could create sounds like that.
Isn't that what NOAA eventually settled on?
That's what they said. It's not
conspiracy is afoot.
I mean, it's not reptilian. It's not necessarily widely accepted because people feel like, to this day, that would be. Well, first of all, off the coast of Chile, what they're saying is that would have to have happened in Antarctica, and it would have had to go pretty fucking far away from Antarctica for there to be like documented glacial bodies that could rub against each other.
Okay.
So.
Who's saying this? Just
people who fight. Like I read people who are like, yeah, that's the official explanation, but that doesn't necessarily solve for all fields, kind of thing.
Because this dude, a seismologist from NOAA, said the frequency and time duration characteristics of the bloop signal are consistent and essentially identical to icequake signals we've recorded off Antarctica.
Right, but I think the difference here was how long it lasted and how far away from Antarctica it was. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying some people are like, I'm not necessarily fully convinced.
Yeah.
And some people...
I would just tend to agree with the dude who like does that for a living.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not questioning
Bill.
him for sure. Some people also want to say that maybe it's the biggest mammal under the water that we haven't actually discovered. They think it's like a potential that there's 10 or 15 whale times 100 beings underwater.
They ran into the ice wall. They found the edge.
Oh God. I can't even accept that as a joke because it just hurts my head and heart so much.
It's it's one of those giant sea monsters, but they just they weren't expecting it and they just boom bumped into the ice wall at the edge of the earth.
It's like captive animals just hitting the glass thinking they're still swimming.
A little bit.
Boop. The bloop.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird.
I'd say that one's solved.
I guess I can see that.
Mega whale hit the ice wall.
Oh, mega whale hit the ice wall? Okay, got it. I thought you meant with the ice quakes. I was like, I mean, yeah, I get that.
Is it sky trumpet time?
What do you know about skyquakes before we get to sky trumpets?
MysteryBooms.com.
Oh,
I wanted to bring this up earlier. What is the least, or what's the shadier website? What the fuck is it called? Domain. What's the .com or the .net or the
extension? Is it? They have it's like TL.
Whatever. What's shadier, .biz or .info? Both are supposed to convey like professionalism and data and business,
but instead, like nothing other than
I trust both of them
does.
way less than a .com.
Well,
which maybe says something about me and the United States of America.
Fair.
And capitalism.
To me, the .biz is always funnier.
Oh, .biz is hilarious.
That's why I bought robotgrandma.biz and just redirected it to our website because robotgrandma.biz is a very hilarious thing.
It's the equivalent of when like a rapper puts CEO in their LinkedIn profile.
Yes. Or when people who just like make art.
I'm the CEO of my own person.
Yeah.
That's my title.
Or people who make art just are like, I'm the creative director at my own name.
Of my house.
You are you are not a creative director.
I'm
That's
the
not how that
CEO
works.
of this apartment. Bitch.
What's up? Fuck with your boy.
Dude, everybody is their own CEO. Like,
Right.
yes, you make decisions for
Right.
yourself. That's what we all do.
Right. You
manage a team of one. Yes, great work.
Your own person.
A lot of executive decisions being made here. What were we talking about again?
You were going to tell me about mysterybooms.biz?
Oh, I just yelled mysterybooms.com. I'm sorry. You were going to talk about Skyquakes.
Okay. Is that a real website?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did
I
you
visited,
go there?
Yeah, I visited today.
Oh, that's tight. Well, I wasn't really going to talk about them, but I mean, I feel like Skyquakes is a good precursor to
Sky Trumpets?
Sky Trumpets.
Oh, okay. You didn't have anything about... Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
do
really understand what it is. Let's you know what?
The Seneca guns.
The fuck did you just say?
Skyquakes have names in a bunch of different cultures and societies for loud cracking sounds
that
pretty sound
awesome.
like artillery that come out of nowhere on like cloudless and non-thunderstormy days and go back as far as 1805 when Lewis and Clark wrote a journal entry documenting what they say sounds like 6-pound cannonballs being fired. And them having no idea where they're coming from or why, and knowing that there were no cannons in the area.
So I'm going to read from mysterybooms.com for a second.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
For centuries, a variety of different sounds classified as mysterious noises, cool classification, have been documented around the world. Such noises are often likened to thunder-like booms or explosions, and in many instances, the sounds remain unexplained, though a number of suggestions have been made as to what their causes may be. Are mystery booms a new phenomenon? Despite much attention the subject has received since 2014, loud noises of unexplained origins have been commonly reported throughout history. The term Seneca guns has been used in reference to reports of loud booms reported for
Seneca
decades along North Carolina's Outer Banks.
Yep.
The nickname, however, has its roots further north, where similar mystery noises have been reported around New York's Catskill Mountains, near the vicinity of Lake Seneca. There you go.
Yeah, man. Pretty weird and pretty interesting.
So, yeah, I guess the long and short of that is like no one really knows, but there might be some atmospheric conditions that create weird sounds. We might not always know when airplanes or other things are breaking the sound barrier. There's a thing called frost quakes that I've heard about too, where at certain times of the year, the ground can thaw and freeze in a way that can create fairly loud cracking noises.
And or tree explosions.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know something about trees exploding?
Boy. What's up?
What the fuck are trees? I mean, I guess I can infer what that is, but how does it happen?
It's basically the exact same concept that you're talking about of the freezing and thawing and the expanding and contracting of trees. But often if there are trees that have cavities in them in any way.
We always wanted to try that when we were younger.
And make a tree blow up?
Yeah.
Tight.
We figured if you found like a dead tree or a tree with a hole in it during the winter, you could just go keep pouring water in there.
Until it became ice.
And then when it all broke away, you'd have an ice tree.
Oh, is that how that works?
I think so.
Okay.
If you just pump a hollow tree full of water in the winter, you make yourself an ice tree.
It's definitely a thing though. Exploding trees in the wintertime is a thing that is documented.
Just because there's so much water contained in a tree naturally?
And
that they expand and contract?
As it heats and cools throughout the winter, the cavities can actually make them pop open.
I feel like evolution shouldn't have allowed a plant that randomly explodes to exist 3 trillion times on our planet.
I mean, I don't think it's like that frequent, but I think it can happen. But I don't think it would accommodate for what sounds like fucking cannon fire occurring that regularly.
Pete has just been texting me like one curse word at a time about Jeff Teague. I assume the Wolves are not doing very well.
Oh shit, we're playing right now.
I've gotten like 8 texts while we've been recording.
Hi Pete, we love you.
All right, Sky Trumpets, and then we're out of here to go watch this shitty basketball team lose again.
Yeah.
trumpet-like alien sound is finally heard in the UK after being a worldwide mystery for almost a decade. Cool headline, but listen to this shit.
Right, we've been hearing these noises outside. Oh, what?
I love this dude's narration, too.
Oh my god, I can't believe I just got that. Yeah, we've been hearing these noises for about 5-10 minutes or something like that. We're in town. Whoa. There's House of Fraser over there. What the is it? I hope you can hear this.
Bro, we can hear it. It's really loud.
Yeah, it's violent.
So that's one example. Do you have others?
Of sky trumpets in general? Yeah. I mean, the thing, you like, as in you want me to play one?
Well, yeah, if you got a good one. You said you found a couple that were real weird and unexplainable today.
I think, so the thing that's like weird about these is it's pretty easy for people to...
Most of them are probably fake.
Fake this?
Yeah, of course.
Because it's a lot of people...
Add in some audio or swap out some audio.
Yeah, it's a lot of people who just like shove their camera out the window and go, "Can you guys hear this?" And then it happens.
You want to make one?
Yes.
Well, you could tell me the video so you don't just hold your laptop up to the microphone.
Well, I don't know. This one is called Strange Sounds in Germany 4.04.2015.
Strange Sounds in Germany 4.4.2015. Here we go. Oh, there's like a possessed looking kid standing in the street too. This video sucks. It's creepy.
Was ist das?
Ich habe keine Ahnung, der Junge da unten guckt auch.
It's further away, but you can hear it.
Ich weiß es nicht.
You know German?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I thought you were...
No, I wasn't translating. I was saying you can hear... It's totally different than the other video. I'm saying it's further away, but you can hear it.
That makes a lot more sense.
I like that you presumed the fact that I could potentially know German.
Ryan knows German.
Ryan just impressed the fuck out of me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Earth makes weird sounds. It's probably aliens, but maybe not.
It's probably aliens, but maybe not. No, look.
Fuck yeah, aliens are real.
I think go. So the thing with the sky trumpets thing is there are some of these videos online that actually seem like they might be real, and there are people who have, like, there's a woman who documented this, and you can see her quest to try to explain it. She went to, she like wrote letters to local factories and was like, "Are you sharpening?
Are you
like,
making trumpets?
Giant blades?
Are you testing trombones in your factory?
Are you creating like giant sized trumpets and testing them?" Some of them are very obviously fake, but they've been happening for a long time. Like, I feel like if it was a fad of people making fake versions of these, it would have maybe like died out a little bit, but they've been coming online for like 10 years now. So that to me is kind of interesting. I don't know. I mean, you know, I guess if fucking Sasquatch was real, then
somebody sent me a video today of some Sasquatch sounds that they want us to play on the pod.
Oh yeah, well we might as well while we're hearing weird things in the world. Hey, if you guys have a weird things that you've heard story, send us an email at hi@whatifpodcast.com.
Do you remember who it was?
I can pull it up.
Our whole email is just fucking Illuminati comments on our blog now.
It's gone off the deep end.
It wasn't Super Bowl guy. It wasn't. Oh, here we go. It was this werewolf guy. I got it. Show me what you got, Bigfoot. I left my camera out in the woods to see if I could get Bigfoot. This is what I found instead. Georgia, 2013. It's just him off camera. That's all it would take. That was pretty good.
That's not a person.
This one's 8.5 minutes long, so I don't know.
So hang on to your butts, everybody. We'll be back with you in 8.5 minutes.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll post the link to it if you guys want to check it out. It's called Screaming Sounds in the Woods. Rocks thrown at camera.
What? I don't know how many people sound like that because I've never heard anybody sound like that before.
I'm looking for the rocks being thrown. I don't see it.
All right. Well, if you got any crazy stories you guys want to share with us, please do. Hi at whatifpodcast.com for all that stuff. Thanks to Andrew B for introing the show today.
You're listening to the What If Podcast with Spencer Worth Davis and Ryan Copperrood. Fuck yeah, aliens are real.
Thanks for that. If anybody does want to submit one, we weren't joking. Like
if they're funny and or sound good,
we'll you can intro the show. Otherwise, we'll defer back to Andrew or British Lady interchangeably until we have a catalog of like 500, and then we'll just go with any of them. So
I'm gonna make a theme song for next week. Enough people said they want a theme song. I won't do it permanently, maybe, unless it's great. Then I will.
We'll give it a shot, and if it works, it works. And if not, and we get bored, then we'll mix it up.
You guys can vote on if you hate it or not.
Because all we've ever done
is just going to be Bigfoot screams for 30 seconds.
With a beat underneath it?
No, just various harmonizing Bigfoot screams.
Just pitch it up and down and layer it into like
auto-tuned Bigfoot coming at you next week.
The Sasquatch Chorus. Brought to you by the What If Podcast.
I'm going to auto-tune some Bigfoot screams, though, just for good measure.
Oh, strong.
Yeah.
Like that. Yep. Got to. Well, on that note, you have that to look forward to next week. Auto-tune Bigfoot screams. Outside of that, hi at whatifpodcast.com and go get your Robot Grandma t-shirts. Them shits is out there and people are digging.
We out of here!
We'll see you next week. Love you guys.
We'll be back next week with another episode of the What If Podcast. Learn more at www.whatifpodcast.com.